So good afternoon, class 9th D. So in the previous class, we have discussed about the introduction to Java, the features of Java, and features of OOPS also. And then we have discussed about the what is class with their definitions. These things you need to copy in your notebook. And then the definition of what is object, right? I hope these things everybody has copied. Plus the types of Java program. So there are two types of programs. One is Java applets and second is standalone Java application, which we are doing and which we have done so many programs. They are known as standalone Java application. Am I clear till here?
Yes, sir.
I hope these things you have noted down in the notebook also, right?
Sir, sir, so what will be the definition of standalone Java application?
Pardon?
Sir, what will be the definition of standalone Java application?
But see, there is no definition actually. The simple program which we execute on a computer without the help of browser, they are known as standalone Java application. And the program which for which we need a browser to execute, they are known as Java applets. This is the only like definition. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so now let's move further. Now, so just move to the chapter number 2. So these things also we are supposed to write in points. So the points to remember, these are very, very important. And the chapter name we are going to start is classes as basis of all computation. This is very, very important chapter. And from this chapter, please try to understand, you will get maximum theory questions. So this is a very important chapter before the programming part. So those who don't know the programming, still they are facing problem while writing the program in Java. So before that, we are supposed to go through these theory points. Please, I will post this recording in the classroom after the class. So points to remember, in short, Java is a third generation programming language. Java uses compiler and interpreter both. So what is compiler and what is interpreter? This we will discuss. So basically, these are the translator which is used to convert your program into the high level, from high level to low level, then low level to again high level. So what is high level and the low level language? Basically in computer, there are three types of languages we use. The first is which we understand, that is your high level programming language, and the other one is which computer understand, that is your low level language, or you can say the binary language. And one more type of language we use, that is your assembly language, which comes in the form of predefined numeric codes. Everybody please pay attention, this is very, very important. So now the difference between the compiler and interpreter, see, basically only Java is the language which uses both compiler as well as interpreter translator. The reason behind that we will discuss after few minutes. So before we discuss, first of all, let me tell you about the translator. Basically, translators are the system program which is used to convert your high level language into the machine code, and then vice versa, means from machine to high level. So whatever program you are executing in Java, so for that, for executing, we need compiler as well as interpreter. So basically the compiler and interpreter both perform the same operation. Compiler and interpreter both converts your source code, which we write in the form of high level language, into the machine code. And then again, after processing the machine code, again we get the output in the form of high level language, which the user can understand. So this is the process of translator, which is used for the translating your program, means from high level to low level and low level to high level. So here the difference between the compiler and interpreter is compiler converts the whole program at once. That is why you can say it is very fast, but it is not reliable. The reason behind that, while converting the whole program at once from high level to low level, if there is a error in your program, so you gets error like there are 10 errors in your program, so it is not easy to find the errors. So for finding the errors you need to go through the whole program again and again. But interpreter perform the same thing but in different manner. So what is that? So basically the interpreter converts, or you can say it interpret your program line by line, means it will read the first line, then it will convert into the low level code, and if there is no error it will move to the next line. So like this only it works. That is why we can say interpreter is more reliable in comparison of compiler. And the but while using the interpreter takes lot of time. The reason, it converts the line one by one, means एक line को करेगा, then second line, then third line, like this only. So if you are having 1,000 number of lines, so compiler will convert at once. If there is no error, if the compiler will get error, it will show कि lump sum number of errors are there. Now you need to remove the errors, then only you can execute the program. But interpreter shows the error in a particular line, so you can easily find the error in that line and you can remove them. Am I clear? This is the only difference. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
You need to copy these things. You can take the screenshot later on. You need to copy in points only. Now the third point, Java uses Java Virtual Machine, JVM. Here the JVM stands for Java Virtual Machine. Basically JVM is treated as your interpreter. So after compiling your program, using the compiler, your interpreter executes the compiled program. That is why we need compiler and interpreter both for executing the program in Java. Now, so Java is a Java virtual machine. It is just like a software or application which is inbuilt in Java. Okay, there is no need to install further. When you install Java, it comes automatically in Java only while installing. So now a compiler is a program that translates code written in high level language into machine code, whereas an interpreter is a program that translates code written in high level into machine code line by line. This already I have explained. Now just move further. Now JVM converts Java bytecode into machine executable form, that is your machine language. See here, when you compile your program, what happened? Basically the compiler converts your source code which we write in the high level language into the Java bytecodes. So what are these bytecode? Bytecodes are the machine executable codes which your interpreter later on executes. This is the working of JVM only. So JVM converts the bytecode into the machine executable form. That is your machine language or machine code. Now source code. What are source codes? Which we write in the form of program. They are known as source code. And source code always we write in high level language. That is why everybody can easily read and understand the source code. What are the object? Object code are the machine code and they are in the form of byte codes. That is why only the machine can easily understand, not the user. So these are the very basic points which you need to remember and memorize. Am I clear? Any question in this?
No, sir.
If you want to discuss these things, you can. शौर आदित्य क्या नाम है भाई इनका? शार्दुल is present? Okay, he has not joined. No problem. So now let's move to the further things. Now come to the next part, that is your basic programming requirements. See, in any language, when you are going to start, if you wanted to do something in a particular language, so there are some requirements. So the basic requirements for writing the program in any language is the character set. This is very, very important, everyone. 2 marks question you can get from this part. So what are the character set? Basically, a character set is a defined list of characters recognized by a language. It is comprised of alphabets, digits, and special symbols. There are so many special symbols which we can use in Java, and that everybody knows also because we have already revised. So now alphabets we use from capital A to Z and small a to Z. Digits we can use all the digits including from 0 to 9, and the special characters. All the symbols are given like addition, subtraction, multiplication, divide, modulus, hash, at the rate, dollar, percent, question mark, dot, semicolon, colon, square bracket, round bracket, curly braces, etc. So these are comes under the topic character set. So without this character set, the user cannot write anything in a computer. So these are the very basic requirements for writing the program. So we are doing the Java. So basically in Java we use Unicode character set. Which character set? Unicode. So now, so after this character set, just come to this ASCII code. What are the ASCII codes? ASCII codes stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. It consumes 1 byte in memory. Please note down, everyone. It consumes 1 byte in memory. So here 1 byte equals to 8 bits. 1 byte equals to 8. These are the very basic things which I think everybody knows. So what are the ASCII code? Basically, these are, there are 128 ASCII codes available in all the programming language. 128. Out of this 128, alphabets are there, like capital A to capital Z, that is 26. Small a to small z, that is again 26. Now the digits 0 to 9 plus all the special symbol. These are basically comes under the ASCII code. But I told you Java uses Unicode character set. So basically, how many Unicodes are there that we are going to discuss? So in Java we use Unicode character set, and there are 65,536 Unicodes available in Java. So total number of Unicodes are 65,536 starting from 0 to 65,535. So total number of Unicodes are 65,536 starting from 0 to 65,535. So out of these 65,536, 128 are the ASCII code. Am I clear? So these ASCII codes are common in all the languages, but not the Unicodes. Unicodes, there are 65,536 means under this Unicode, Java uses the universal code. Unicode stands for universal codes. It consumes 2 bytes in memory. Please try to understand. Unicode is an international character set designed to represent all the characters found in languages around the world. Means throughout the world, whatever languages are available, in all the languages the Unicodes are there. That is why the number of Unicodes are 5,536, and it consumes 2 bytes in memory, whereas ASCII code was consuming 1 byte in memory. Am I clear this? Now,
Yes, sir.
the first 128 characters in the Unicode character sets are the same as those of the ASCII character set. Am I clear this part or not? Or should I explain more? The rest are used to represent characters from all over the world, making it the largest set of character. This is very, very important, all of you. Please try to understand. So if in the exam, the question you are getting, define Unicode. So what you will write? You will write Unicodes. Java uses Unicode character set. It consumes 2 bytes in memory, and there are 65,536 Unicodes available, starting from 0 to 65,535. This much is more than sufficient. So Java uses which character set? Unicode. Please remember, this is very, very important. Now, and these things again I am repeating, you need to copy in your notebook under the subheading like ASCII codes, Unicode character set. Now, moving to the next very, very important topic. And now after this topic, we will start the programming again. So now, let's start from the tokens. So what are tokens? Just try to understand. The tokens are available in all the languages. Whether you are using Java, whether you are using C, whether you are using BASIC, whether you are using C++, any languages, in all the languages, which is now you are using or somebody else is using. The tokens are the basic unit to start the program. So what are the tokens? All characters in a Java programs are grouped into the symbols called tokens. So in short, you can say these are the smallest individual unit in a program. Means program में आप कुछ भी लिखते हो, कुछ भी, that is a token. So that is why we write these are the smallest individual unit of a program. So whatever we write in your program in any language, that is a part of token. So normally this token we can categorize into 5 categories. Number 1, keywords. What are keywords? Yashwardhan, what is the use of int? Will you tell me?
The int is used to declare a variable in which we store an integer type value.
So integer type value means the whole number, right?
Yes, sir.
So this int stands, int stands for some specific reason. So this is the word which everybody knows, whoever is using programming language. Maybe the C or C++ and Java. In all these 3 languages, int means integer. So integer means it can hold only the whole number. It cannot store, it cannot work on the decimal values. So we write, void in your program, public static void main. You write, public. So all these words which is having the predefined meaning in a particular language, it has a special meaning. So these are known as the keywords, or you can say the reserve words. So keywords are also known as reserve words, which convey special meaning to that particular language. Am I clear this? So this is the definition of keywords. Keywords are the reserve words which convey special meaning to that particular language compiler. Am I clear this? So basically in
Yes.
Java there are 64 keywords. There are 64 number of keywords available, like import, import, like public, static, void, main, string, system, out, print. So these are the types of keywords. These are the examples of the keyword. So if you are getting a question, write 5 examples of keywords. So I think everybody can easily write. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, just write the definition of identifier. So what are the identifiers? Identifier is also known as the variable. Identifier is also known as variable. So what are variables? Variables are the named block of memory which is used to store some value. It can be the name of the class, it can be any variable name, it can be anything. It can be, like string arg. So arg is simple your variable name. Like we were writing class sum. So sum was your variable name. So The identifier or the variables are the named block of memory and their values can be changed during the execution of program. So like we declare int a. So this a is what? A is a variable and it can hold any value. Means later on you can store 50. Later on you can store 100 or any other value you can take from the user also. So the value of the a is not fixed. So if the value is not fixed, that is a variable. That is why we can say the variables value can change during the execution of the program. Am I clear this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So any confusion till identifier?
No, sir.
Now
No, sir.
come to the literal. So what are literals? Literals are the fixed values and their values cannot be changed during the execution of program. For example, if you declare a variable like int a, so what is this? This is the integer variable, but if you are assigning some value like this, so now this 50 is your fixed number. So this number you are assigning in a variable a. So now this variable becomes the constant. So this literal is also known as constant. The s is missing, don't worry. You can write down here. So don't worry about the spellings. So now this a becomes constant. Why? Because now it is holding value 50. So now this integer type constant we are declaring. Am I clear this?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Very good. So
There
these
is a
examples
problem
you
with
need to
that.
copy in your notebook also. So as you know, I am recording everything. Please listen. As you know, I am recording everything. So these things you can go through the recording and note down in your notebook also. Okay. Now
Okay, sir.
come to the next part, punctuator or the separator. As you know, you were using some round bracket also, some curly braces also. Sometime you are putting the semicolon and a comma. So what are these? These are the separator, which is sometimes this comma is a separator, this is terminator, these are the curly braces and this is the round bracket. So basically these are the examples of punctuator or the separator which is used to for some specific purpose. So terminator is used to terminate the line. Comma is used for separating multiple variables in the same line, whereas curly braces are used to show the block for opening and closing. And this round bracket shows the work brackets in which we write the statement also sometime. Sometime we are writing some expression also. Am I clear this?
Yes, sir.
So these are the examples of separator. Now come to the operator. So what are the operators? Who will tell? Athar, please tell operator.
The operators are, sir, the like, sir, when we write a program, sir, we do, sir, a equal to b plus c. So, sir, the plus sign is the operator. Or, sir, the modular sign which we use to operate.
See,
something.
basically I am not talking about the examples of operator. I am just talking what are operators. So basically operators are used to perform some operation. Please try to understand. What you will write under the definition, operators are used to perform some operations. So now, there are so many types of operators available that we will discuss after, that naming conventions, the rules for declaring the variables. So basically you can see, we can, further categorize the operators. So we can categorize operators in, some, if you want to perform mathematical operation, we need arithmetical operators. If you want to perform some logical operation, we need logical operator. If you want to perform some operation which works on a single variable, so in that case we need plus sign. So if there are so many types of operator that we will discuss after, that we will discuss in the next class, right? Don't worry. Now come to this Java identifier naming convention. So basically, whenever you are declaring a variable in your program, like int a comma b comma c, so there are certain rules which we are supposed to follow. So while declaring variable, the variable can be of any length. We can use upper and lower case. Upper and lower case means we can use the variables as well as in capital as well as in small letter also. Now, while declaring variable, we cannot use any keyword because that is not allowed. And it cannot start with digit or any special symbol except underscore and dollar. So these two are the symbols which is allowed. But apart from this underscore and the dollar sign, we cannot use any other special symbol in your variable declaration. Am I clear this? And the variable cannot start with digit. And the last rule is an identifier can consist of any combination of letters, digits, the underscore and the dollar sign. But while declaring the variable, it cannot start with digit, it cannot have any keyword, it cannot have any special symbols. Am I clear this?
Yes, sir.
So till here only we will discuss in today's class. Rest we will discuss in the next class from the operator. So please note down these things in your fair notebook. And with this, I'm going to stop sharing the screen and let me finish today's class.